Hello everybody, here's a quick demonstration of file manager of sorts that I've constructed with Macro Express to work within SCORE when running SCORE through DOSBox. Anyway, as you know, everything that I do was predicated on running SCORE through DOSBox, so I'm not going to say that all the time. Macro Express module that works as a file manager for SCORE. I'm going to illustrate you how this works. I have a master menu, as you all know. I press the F12 key and my master menu comes up. In that master menu I have a file menu, just like you would have on a Windows program. Currently that file menu contains two items only. One is open file and the other one is exit. Open file opens a file and exit exits the program. Cancel. Click on cancel, then the menu just goes away. So let me go back into the file menu again, and as you can see, I've also given these two menu commands keyboard assignments, which is for open file. I've used the standard Windows keystroke command, which is Control O for open, and if I want to exit the SCORE program I type Alt F4, and then if I were to do that I would get some kind of a prompt that would say, do you want to save the current file and exit, or blah blah blah. Actually I can show you real quick. If I select exit, it tells me, do you wish to close the current SCORE module? And then I have an option that says save current file and exit, or exit without saving current file. But I want to do neither of those things right now. I want to stay in SCORE, so I just click on cancel. Anyway, so the other item then in the file menu right now is the open file command, and I'm going to invoke it from the menu right now. And what happens is, first I get an intermediary window that's called file mask, and it tells me, it says your currently selected file extension is star.muse, and then I have the option to keep that file mask or to assign a new file mask. I've set it up with Macro Express so that Macro Express, this file manager that I've made with Macro Express, remembers what file mask I opted for the last time I opened a file through that particular file manager. It just remembers that. And the last time I opened a file with this file manager was I used the file mask star.muse. Because I really don't care to see all files in the directory. I really only want to see the files that I can actually open in the SCORE program. So I have no interest, and I'm going to this file manager to see PDF files or .txt files or Microsoft Word files or PostScript files or whatever else I might have in the directory. I'm not interested in seeing that. I really just want to see files that I can actually open in SCORE. So right now my file mask that I've selected is star.muse, and I'm going to keep that mask and then proceed into this file manager. And it comes up and it looks like this, and you can see the only star.muse files are actually listed on the screen. The directory information you can see up here is SCORE4, ROB, and B2, and this is the directory where I am right now. Let me I'm going to cancel this and verify this first. You can see this. If I go down here within SCORE and invoke the F7 command, it'll tell me up here what my current path is. Going /SCORE4 /ROB /B2, just for verification. So let me do the file open command again, and SCORE4 ROB B2, as we just saw. That's the current working directory where I'm working. The file that's open right now, you can see, is file 305, and let me just open up file 0300. I just selected in the file manager, I click on open, and there's file 300A. That's open now. Let me open up another file. File manager, open. I'm going to keep startup.muse. Scroll down the list to and open up another file like 0548A, 548A. That's file 548. Instead of going into the menu now, I'm just going to type Control O, keep the mask, and I'm going to double click on a file now instead of selecting it and then clicking on open or pressing the enter key. Any of the usual ways in which you're accustomed to opening a file in Windows are operable here as well. So I'm going to double click on 0300A. Let's pick that one. There's 0300A. Now, the thing that was a little trickier to do was the ability to navigate to different directories within this file manager and open a file there without first having to go in, press the F7 key, and type in the new path, etc. Because I wanted all this to be done within SCORE. That was a bit trickier to do. But I thought if you're going to have a file manager, then you have to be able to navigate within that file manager and select a file from anywhere in your system. So I'm going to do that now. Type Control-O. And now I'm going to go into a different directory. Right now I'm in ROB B2. Let me change to ROB B4, for instance. That's a different directory. I'm going to select file 0880. And there's my file 0880. And I'm in the new directory. You can verify it by pressing the F7 key. You see now the directory is SCORE 4, ROB, and then B4. It was B2 before. Okay. Now this was probably a bit fast the way this ran by, so I'm going to change it just let it run by in slow motion so you can see what actually happens when I do this. And so I'm going to go into the Macro Express module for that. And right now, the first thing I define in this particular macro is the keystroke speed, which is set at 12 milliseconds. I'm going to change this to a very slow 300 milliseconds right now. Keystroke speed 300 milliseconds. Before I do that, I just wanted to point out one fact. Right now, if I type in 300 milliseconds, this keystroke speed is going to be hardwired into this macro. Anything that that's going to be typed in by Macro Express into the SCORE program is going to be executed at 300 milliseconds. It would be more useful to get the value for the keystroke speed from a variable, and you have that option right here. Then you would just have to define your variable somewhere as a global variable or as a constant somewhere else in Macro Express and call it from there, because the keystroke speed will likely have different kind of requirements depending on what kind of a computer you're running and what processor power you have and what your keyboard buffer is, buffer speed is, that sort of thing. And if you have your keystroke speed very hardwired individually into each macro that you're running in Macro Express, then if you want to change your keystroke speed, you'd have to do that in each macro individually. So it is actually cleverer to set up the keystroke speed by assigning it to a global variable and then pulling that value into whatever macro that you have on your system that relies on the setting of a keystroke speed. Anyway, that was a little excursion. Right now I'm just going to change the keystroke speed here to 300 milliseconds. And everything's going to execute a lot slower now. I'm going to save this macro, go back into SCORE, invoke the control open, and change to a different directory. Right now I'm in B4, and I'm going to change to, let's say, A4. I'm in a different directory now. Select the file, click on open, and now watch what happens. It's automatically changing to a different directory with the F7 key. Now I'm in the different directory, and now it's getting my file. You see? Do it again. Keep my file mask, and I'm going to change to let's say BAP, and select a completely different file. It saves the file, then it goes to the different directory, and now it gets my file, and done. Anyway, I would want to show you in slow motion how this works. Let me go back into the Macro Express macro, change it back to 12 milliseconds. Save this macro and then run it again. Let's go to A5, different directory again, opening file 1090, poof poof, and there it is. That's how quickly you can navigate now. You don't have to do any typing. Macro Express does all that for you, and I think file navigation is a lot easier this way. If you're working on a bunch of files, for instance, where the file nomenclature is not contiguous, you can go in and just pick files up out of the list rather than having to do a directory read and what's my next file name, etc., etc. Jan de Clo had a good idea of having some kind of a smart NX feature within SCORE, so that it would actually find the next file in sequence if in the alphabetical alphanumerical listing if the file names are not contiguous. I haven't built that yet as a module for Macro Express, but I mean that's all doable. Maybe somebody else wants to take that up. That would be fun. But that's one of the things I want to develop, and once I have that, I can give that module to anybody who wants that. So anyway, let me just open up a different file. And now I'm just going to change the file mask. I want to see all files in this given directory, so I click on New Mask, and I'm going to just type in star for all files. And now you can see I see everything in this directory, which here includes a zip file. It includes BAK files, .muse files. If I wanted to go through all my BAK files, for instance, well, I can. BAK is a file that can be opened in SCORE. It opens that up. Let me just change my directory mask to star.bak. Now I just see my BAK files. And I can select anything from there, like this. Anyway, that was just a quick demonstration to show one module that I've made in Macro Express that I would like to upload on some website where we can then share these different macros as plugins, and then you can put that into your own version of Macro Express, and voila, all of a sudden you'd have a file manager that would work for you from within SCORE. That's it for this particular demonstration. Thanks very much. Bye.